Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Life in General podcast. My name is Nick.
And I am Ian.
I am. Why do you say it like that?
I forgot.
You forgot who you were?
I had to hesitate, yeah.
What's going on, man?
Nothing.
I will say that before we start recording this, our episode next week will be our 5th annual New Year's Eve trivia celebration.
Yeah, where we just have fun.
Yeah, I've got a really cool game that we're going to play that I've kept secret from everyone, so I don't know who's going to be on the show with us.
I know nothing.
No?
I never know. I never know anything.
Ian doesn't even know what our topics are normally.
I do today.
You do today.
If we even get to it.
We will get to it, but
Yeah.
There is something I wanted to talk about real quick. And this was something I seen like circulating the last, I guess yesterday is when I first saw it. And I guess by the time you're listening to this podcast, it's actually been like a week. But
Right.
Have you seen this article about Eric Clapton? So
Something about he doesn't like playing his old stuff anymore.
Oh no, that has nothing to do with it.
I saw that article just a couple days ago.
Okay, so there is I believe this lady was in her mid-50s. Her husband died, and so she was selling off some of his stuff.
Yeah, and she had a bootleg.
She sold a
And he
bootleg
sued her.
CD. Yeah, she was selling his bootleg CD on eBay for $11. It didn't even sell. Like, she didn't even sell the damn thing. Eric Clapton sues her, and now she has to pay $4,000 in because she has to pay all the legal fees for her and Eric Clapton. Fucking multi-millionaire fucking Eric Clapton suing a widow for an $11 bootleg CD.
Right.
Has to be the most ridiculous fucking thing.
Yeah.
And now, granted, my opinion of Eric Clapton has always been pretty damn low. I mean,
I wouldn't say mine's low, but I have always considered him an overrated.
Oh no! I mean, I'm talking about as a person.
Oh,
Eric
yeah.
Clapton as a person has always been a shitbag. And,
Yeah. I mean, I've always kind of felt that way because he technically stole George Harrison's wife, and then wrote a song about it.
But like all the articles I've ever seen about Eric Clapton have never made him out to be a nice guy.
Right.
It's always been shitty stories like this.
This is really shitty. I
this
did,
is
I
really
did see
fucking
this article,
shitty.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like I said,
I didn't know the details. I didn't know what she, why she was selling it or where it was coming from. I just knew that he had sued her and he'd won thousands, is what the thing said. That's the shittiest thing I've ever.
Yeah.
Especially for Eric Clapton. Maybe if you're a smaller artist, where your livelihood is kind of maybe slightly affected.
No, I don't even see it that way.
I know, I don't really
Like
either, but I'm just saying,
if I'm an artist, if I was a musician, and someone is bootlegging my CDs, that's different.
Right.
I'm going to go after the person that's bootlegging them.
Right.
Don't go after the 55-year-old widow that's
just selling off,
trying to sell off her husband's belongings to try to make some fucking money.
Right.
And so she's selling it for $11. Don't go after. I guess that's always been my thing, though. And I've always looked at like drugs the same way. I think it's dumb that we go after the guy that gets high because of his addiction, and we don't really focus on the people that are like making, transporting.
Right. Well, they try, but
they try, but
it's not. The prisons are not full of people who are selling and making the drugs. They're making millions of dollars out there. The prisons are full of people who just
But when it comes to like drug addicts, I've said for a long time, we need to treat that not as a criminal thing, but as a mental, a health care thing.
Right.
But with this, man, it's like that's pretty fucking shitty to.
It is. It's very shitty, actually.
Yeah, I guess she's from Germany, is what I was reading. But yeah, over the summer she was selling off some of her husband's belongings. Didn't even know the CD was a bootleg.
Right.
Had no idea.
Why would she?
Thought it was. It was a CD from. It was a live show from. I was trying to scroll through here and see what it. I don't see it. At least I don't see in the article where it says that when the CD was from. But actually no. Hold on. It says that her late husband bought the CD Eric Clapton Live USA at a department store in 1987.
Right.
So he bought this thing in 87. She sells it in the summer of 2021, and he fucking sues her over it.
Ridiculous.
Eric Clapton, you're a piece of shit.
Yeah. But she just paid his legal fees? What did she have to pay for restitution for selling it?
I don't know. I don't know if she had to forfeit the CD or what.
For $11, I would have said, just drop the suit. You can have the fucking CD back.
She didn't, because she didn't sell it.
Right.
That was the whole crazy thing, is she didn't even sell this damn thing. All she did was list it on eBay.
Yeah.
Yeah. For $11. $9.95. €9.95, whatever, however you say that. But so it's about $11.20. It was,
if it's euros, it'd be like $9.99. Just say $9.99 or whatever.
Yeah. The CD was listed for 1 day before it was removed.
Yeah, that's a pretty shitty thing to do. You know, like I said, especially these artists who've been in the business for 50 plus years.
Yeah.
They are richer than God, most of them. So what difference does it fucking make? Nobody, and I don't know of any other artists who are doing that. You know, even some of them, like Kiss, I could see doing it, and I don't think they're doing shit like that.
I don't think they would.
Oh yeah, Gene Simmons would.
Not one person selling it.
No, but they would go after someone for sure.
Yeah. So she appealed the decision, and the appeals judge said that it did not matter that she didn't purchase it or didn't know that it was an illegal recording. And they also said that if she tried to sell the bootleg again, she could face up to 6 years in prison and a fine of about a little under $300,000.
I'd tell Eric Clapton he can shove it up his fucking ass.
Yeah. I would have taken that fucking CD and thrown it at him in the
Right.
court. You want it here? Fucking take it, asshole.
Right.
You
music's
pissed
overrated.
on my husband's grave.
Your music's overrated anyway. Layla's only good for about 2.5 minutes.
Here you go, slow hand.
Yeah. The 6-minute song Layla is only good for 2 minutes, damn it. The rest is just fucking repetitive.
I love the end of it.
That's the repetitive part. It plays on for like 10 minutes.
I know, but
it's the exact same thing over and over again.
I know, but I like it.
Ugh, no, that song should only be 2 minutes long. I will say I did like the unplugged version.
I was going to say you like the unplugged version.
I do like the unplugged version.
I think the unplugged version of most of his songs are better.
Yeah, probably.
Because, like I said, I've never really thought Eric Clapton was that great of a guitar player.
No.
I mean,
there's a lot of other guitar players that are better than Eric Clapton.
I would put Eric Clapton in the top 50 for sure.
Yeah, maybe.
He's in the top 50, but to see him ranked in the top 15, top 10 is fucking ridiculous.
I was gonna say I've seen him in the top 5 before. No.
Speaking of top 5s, Pitchfork, who's like a online music site,
okay,
one of the big ones, they did this user poll of the top 200 albums of the last 25 years. And scrolling through here, scrolling through the list this morning, actually, I was going through it. And my first thought was, man, Pitchfork readers, their fucking taste in music suck.
Yeah.
Last 25 years, I thought for sure American Idiot would be in there.
Yeah.
No. Enema of the State wasn't in there. I mean, there's a couple of huge fucking albums in the last 25 years. I was like, why is Tyler the Creator over this?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't even know who that is. I think I've heard the name before.
There were, I think, 7 or 8 Kanye albums in there, which a couple of them in the top 200, there's probably 3 I probably would put in there, but not 7 or 8.
Right.
And then there was every single Radiohead album was in there of the last 25 years.
Huh.
I think there was 6. There's 6. Yeah, there's 6 Radiohead albums.
I'm trying to think what 25 years ago was. 97?
Yeah.
96?
96.
Okay.
1996. It's kind of crazy to think that next year will be my 25th high school reunion.
Yeah.
Which we probably won't have one, but
this past year was mine. I don't think we did. I don't pay attention to that shit though.
Yeah.
It's not that big of a deal to me.
I don't think I've ever gone to any of my high school reunions.
No.
I went to Mandy's.
We only, as far as I know, we didn't even have a 20th. I think we had a 10 or a 15.
Yeah.
But I didn't go to that because at the time where I was working, I saw a lot of my graduating class all the time.
Yeah.
just around. So it made no sense for me to go. There wasn't anyone else
Yeah.
outside of who I was already seeing that I even cared about,
That's the one thing about, I lived in Tennessee for like 8 years, and then we moved back, and I don't really live in the area where I went to school, so I don't really see anybody. Yeah. And for the most part, I don't like people, so I'm not friends with any of them on Facebook or anything either.
When you were in Tennessee, didn't Mandy have one? A reunion that she went to?
Yeah. That's like the only time I've ever been to a high school reunion.
Right.
I
think you and I crashed one of her reunions, didn't we?
That was that same one.
No, I'm talking back when we were younger. Like, I don't even know.
No, Mandy
this is before you were married. Didn't she have some kind of like little mini reunion or something?
No, the only class reunion Mandy's
this
ever.
This would have been because
before we were married. That was like
it was right after
2000.
My sister was still with her first husband because he was there too.
You're thinking where we like sat outside on the little patio.
Yeah.
That was Mandy's. That was her 10th high school reunion.
Okay,
10 year.
Because you're right.
Because we were in Tennessee.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. That was the reason I even went because I hadn't seen you guys in a while. So yeah, that makes sense. All right. Yeah,
but like I'm not even friends with of the people I graduated high school with. Like I don't think I'm friends with like any of them on Facebook
other than Corey.
Oh, well, there's a couple other ones. Jeremiah, there's a couple other ones, but
I forgot about Jeremiah.
A small handful of people,
right?
Because
that's all you need to care about. It's like,
well, because I'm not one of those people. Like, I will never have like thousands of people on Facebook because I don't, unless I actually like fucking know you. I'm not going to accept your friend request, and that's the other thing is I don't think I've ever like sent anyone a friend request on Facebook. Like, I don't request anyone.
I don't think I have either, to be honest with you. Maybe very early on when I first signed up.
Yeah, maybe then, but if neither one of us do, then I don't know how the hell we're friends on Facebook.
Right. Well, one of us did. One of us did, yeah. But I mean, like that would have been early on, though. I mean, that would have been when I signed up in 2009.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, but like, I don't think I've ever. Like, outside the very initial period, I don't think I ever sent a friend request.
Because to me, it's like, I don't mind getting friend requests as long as it's somebody I'm gonna put accept. But I don't know. I just feel like I'm being needy.
Well, yeah, it's I don't know. And I think it's a weird thing for us because we're in that age group where we're a little bit too older than And the funny thing is, like, people we work with, I've gotten a lot of friend requests from people we work with, and I will never send them out because I don't want to be like the creepy old guy that's sending kids because we work with a bunch of kids.
We do, yeah.
I don't want to be sending me as a 42-year-old man. I don't want to be sending like some 23-year-old girl
a friend request
on Facebook. I just think it's fucking creepy.
I think
they send them to me and I'll accept them, whatever.
Right,
but
yeah, I don't have anyone from work on my friend list that didn't send me a friend request.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I won't be the creepy old guy. No. Don't be the creepy old guy.
Yeah. Creepy Facebook guy. Creepy old Facebook guy. Yeah, it doesn't work.
So we do have a topic.
We do.
And now that we're 13 minutes into the show, we should probably get into it.
Yeah, but we're doing pretty good. Normally we're 35 minutes in.
No, last episode we did the same thing. We were like 10 or 15 minutes in.
Really?
Yeah, we got into the topic. I don't even remember what we got sidetracked on the last episode. But I don't even remember what the hell we talked about last episode.
I don't either.
What was it? Oh, we talked about DC, the DC Extended Universe. That's what we talked about last.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right. So we're going to move on from one, I would say DC was one of Ian's favorite
I wouldn't go that far, but it's
movie franchises.
It's a franchise that I enjoy. I wouldn't. It's definitely
to one that I really thoroughly enjoy.
And I would say I enjoy this one more than I like the other one.
Oh, well, fine. Fuck it. Whatever.
Well,
you blew up my whole fucking idea there.
Yeah, well, because, this franchise that we're going to talk about today, I've been into it since I was a little kid, like you, So.
Yes. So today we're going to talk about specifically No Time to Die and the Daniel Craig era of James Bond, because I've been a big James Bond fan for a very, very long time.
Yeah, since I was like 8, I think.
And
6, 7, or 8 in that range was when I first saw my first James Bond movie.
For me, it was I didn't get into James Bond until the 90s.
Oh, okay.
Like the early,
like Pierce Brosnan.
I think, is the... Because it was probably, what was his first movie was
Goldeneye.
And I think that's when I got into it.
That was 94.
Yeah, so around that time. But at least for the last, almost 30 years, I've been a big fan. And I've been someone that has pretty consistently always said that my favorite James Bond has always been Sean Connery, the original James Bond. And I still love a lot of those older movies. I've definitely changed my opinion. I think Daniel Craig is now my favorite James Bond.
He's mine for sure.
And it's primarily because of, and I was thinking about this last night. One thing that James Bond has never really done are like big storyline arcs over multiple movies. That's not a James Bond thing.
No, in fact, usually it's a minor arc. Well, it might be a major arc, but it's usually tied up pretty quickly at the very beginning of the next film.
Yes.
So.
And with these Daniel Craig movies, they're all kind of this one movie, just a big.
It's one major like 5 films arc.
Yeah, I mean, there are a couple of those movies that are like take place the very next day.
Right.
I mean,
Quantum of Solace, it's like literally not even the next day. It's like the next scene.
Yes, and kind of No Time to Die is kind of the same way.
In a sense, it's. I think it feels like it's like weeks later.
Yeah, well, it's a short period of time, but it's like a direct sequel to Spectre. Which I think Spectre was probably the weaker of the movies, of the Daniel Craig movies. But
I mean, I think Quantum of Solace is the weakest. But,
I would agree with that.
But I don't know. I don't know how I feel. I keep going. I've tried to rank them in my head.
It's hard for me.
I know my favorite one. I know which one is my absolute favorite. Yeah. That's easy. But how I rank them after that, it's pretty tough.
It's kind of hard for me because my alarm's going off here.
Uh-oh. Are you dying?
Oh, no. We just have a new episode of The Vinyl Den premiering in 2 minutes.
Oh.
So as far as like looking at the Daniel Craig movies themselves, Skyfall is my favorite. Mm-hmm. But it's not my favorite by a whole lot. Right. And then the two behind it are really fucking close.
Right.
And I think the thing I love, because I know what your favorite is.
It's Casino Royale.
Casino Royale.
Yeah, I love that film.
And I just recently watched that, and Casino Royale has my favorite James Bond villain ever. I think Le Chiffre is by far the best villain. Le Chiffre is not just a villain that is a villain to be a villain. He's just not out there to be evil. Yeah. There's actually a lot of depth to the character. You see the turmoil that he's going through. Yes, he's financing, terrorism and other things like that out there in the world.
He almost feels like a mid-level guy.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
Which he is. I mean,
he is.
But
he's like the banker for the evil side of the world.
Right.
But like I said, you see the torment he's going through. You understand, like, through the last half of that movie, why he has to win that card game. If he doesn't win that card game,
he's going to die,
and he loses that money twice.
Right.
He's going to fucking die.
Right.
And that's what ends up happening to him.
Right. Yeah, and it's not even Bond who kills him. It's his own people.
It's his own. It's Spectre,
which is kind of Well, at the time, it's Quantum.
Yes, you don't know who the
right. Quantum's like a subsidiary of Spectre.
Yes.
So, Casino Royale is my favorite of the films. After that, that's where it gets a little tough because it's like, I would say, Skyfall, Spectre, No Time to Die, then Quantum of Solace. If I had to rank them in an order, starting with Casino Royale being the number one, and it's Skyfall, Spectre, No Time to Die. Although, even again, like you said, Spectre and No Time to Die, I don't know.
Yeah, because that's kind of where I'm at. Skyfall is definitely my favorite, and then
that's my second.
Then Casino Royale and No Time to Die are probably tied for number 2. I can't really decide which one.
Right, and that for me, it's Spectre and No Time to Die.
No Time to Die. I love how they kind of cleaned everything up over.
I do have a couple of critiques for No Time to Die, though.
Yeah,
3 specifically.
I'm just gonna let you know right here now. We're probably gonna spoil the shit out of this movie.
Oh, we're gonna have to
if you haven't seen it.
Yeah. I mean, there's 2 big things that are like big spoilers, but I think at this point they're already out there. Anyway.
He has a daughter and he dies.
Yes.
There you go. I got him out of the way.
So,
and I love how they did both of those.
Yes. Do you want me to tell you the things, the 3 things I had problems with? The first one is, I understand it from from the story perspective. If you look at the whole 5-movie arc, I do get it. But he turns on what's her name, Madeline.
Yeah.
At the beginning of the movie, a little too easy.
I don't know.
And I go back and forth, but I think it's the more I think about it, I just think he was just like, as much as he loves her, because he loves her as much or more as he did
Vesper.
Vespa.
But I think that's why he turns on her, though.
I know.
Is because everything he went through in those first 2 movies with her. And he's like, well, fuck, I'm not going to go through it again, because she stabbed in the back, and now Madeline's doing the same thing.
But she wasn't.
She wasn't. That's what the perception was.
That's what I mean, though. It's like he didn't even try to figure that out.
No.
And he just went off the grid.
And I think that completely makes sense.
It's not like, it's not a story point that is like, oh, that's totally unbelievable. It's just, I don't know. It felt, I mean, in the course of the film, like, because I mean, it's that beginning point. It just felt like, it's over. Boom.
Yeah.
And then she doesn't even show up until near the 3rd act.
Yeah.
Again, middle of the 2nd act anyway. This is actually my biggest complaint with the film, and I'm gonna have to go back and watch the other 4 of his to see if it's there. But I so totally noticed it. I call it the stormtrooper effect. You have all these bad guys shooting at him, and he's just running in the middle, and nothing's hitting him. And then he turns around, fires 3 shots, and kills 5 people.
Yeah.
And that goes on through the whole movie. Like that last scene where he's
going up the stairwell.
Yeah, he's just boom, boom, boom. They're all falling, and they're shooting at him, and he's literally in complete open.
Yeah.
And they're not even hitting him.
Yeah.
It's like, come on, guys. This is...
I get it.
And that was throughout the whole film. Like I said, I need to go back and watch...
But that's how all of them are, though. Like,
the old ones, I feel like they got away from that in the new ones.
All the Daniel Craig movies are all the same.
Yeah. I mean, in the old ones, it was always like that, too. But
yeah,
I really noticed it in this one. And I think it was that stairwell scene that really like.
Yeah, because that was the one thing. I did see that one. I did catch that when I was watching. I'm like, how are none of these people hitting him? Like,
right.
Like not even like grazing an arm or something.
Yeah, I mean, and it's like even the
lot of
slips going on around him were like miles away.
Yeah, I will say that like a lot of them, like there was a couple of guys that like came bursting through the door. Makes sense because they don't know
he was there.
They didn't know where. Yeah.
Right. But yeah, there was a lot of times where they're just, they're standing there, they're like pointing right at him and shooting, and it's like not even touching him, and he just goes boom, boom, and they're dead.
Yeah.
And my last problem with it is how they took out Blofeld. I mean, I get what they were doing and why they did it, because he's not really the main villain of this film, but he's the main villain of the whole thing.
Yes and yes and no.
And he just kind of, the way he went out, I didn't like it. It wasn't as bad as how they took him out in The Spy Who Loved Me.
Yeah.
Because he wasn't really even in that one technically, because they didn't have the legal claim to call him Blofeld. But that was the one where Roger Moore picks him up in his wheelchair on the helicopter leg and drops him into the smokestack. I'm like, this is almost as bad, because it was just like,
Yeah, I don't know.
It's anticlimactic.
It was. It seemed like a very easy death.
Yeah.
But I like I said, I get it though, because it's not. Yeah, you find out that Blofeld is this character that has been orchestrating everything
from the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Even before the beginning, because of the relationship that exists between him and Bond.
Yeah, that was the one thing I didn't understand, and they've done it with like every incarnation of Blofeld. Is Blofeld obviously has been played? He's never been played by the same character twice until No Time to Die.
Yeah,
and they've changed the backstory with Blofeld every single time.
Yeah,
and I'm not sure if they really needed to have that kind of personal relationship. But even with that, you're right. It seemed like an easy death,
right?
But like I said, I get it, because Blofeld you see as this big overarching character over the all these movies behind the scenes, but he wasn't the villain of this movie. He was not the villain of this movie.
No, and that's fair, but he still went out in a shitty way. I mean, if they hadn't killed him, like if they had left him alive, I would have been happier with that, because he would have been
you're right,
rotted in jail.
There was really no reason to really kill him,
right? And the way they did, you know.
The biggest problem I have with this movie is, so the main villain, Safin,
I think so. Yeah,
Rami Malek is a really good actor.
he is.
I did not like his character.
I didn't either. But I just put him up with the bad guy from the second from Quantum of Solace as well. They're kind of even in my book as far as villains go. I think Rami Malek's character had more going for him as far as a bad guy, and he's probably a better actor than the other guy. I don't really know that other guy, but but as far as their villainous, being the villain of the film, yeah, I just kind of
I think there was a lot more potential with this character, and kind of the backstory with it and everything, which I thought the backstory was kind of weird too. I will say that the gun that the girl used to shoot him early in the movie, that gun didn't exist. At
the time that she was supposed to have shot him with it?
Yeah, that gun didn't exist until 2008, 2009.
Oh, okay, yeah, she would have been much older.
Yeah, so...
Thing is, he didn't seem to have aged much, but I guess it's implied that he was like a teenager when he tried to kill her.
Yeah, that's kind of what I got.
So, or when he killed her mother, went after her father.
Yeah, Madeline.
Yeah.
So, which I like that whole kind of backstory to it.
But ultimately, that makes him her enemy, her nemesis, not Bond. Bond is almost ancillary in this overall.
Yes and no, because
of what he's going to do worldwide. But his drive is all connected to her.
Out of all Bond movies, I think that was the best villain plot though. Using
maybe
nanotechnology to basically wipe out half the world.
Yeah, if it's going to be a world-ending situation,
it's the Bond version of the snap.
Right. It kind of was, actually, if you think about it.
Yeah, kind of.
And I don't know. I mean, for drama, it works, but I don't really know if we needed it to be M's plan, like his little side project that started that.
No, I think that makes sense too, because where else would a facility like that come from?
Yeah, but it's a situation that's off the books.
Yeah.
Yet, Spectre didn't know about it in the last film, because that one guy that had infiltrated, I forgot his name. He was like the secretary or the minister of defense or whatever, and he was going to do that whole Big Brother thing. I mean, he's like the secondary bad guy of Spectre of the film. He didn't know about that and didn't.
You're talking about Logan Ash?
Is that his name?
The CIA agent?
No. In the Inspector, he was.
Inspector.
In the.
Yeah, I don't know what his name was.
Because he was basically trying to completely disband MI6.
Yeah.
And he didn't know about it.
Possibly not.
Yeah, I mean, it's just
it's something that only M knew about. I mean,
other people have to know about it because it's not like he's making it himself.
I will say that the thing that I really, really, really loved about No Time to Die is all the ties to Dr. No.
Yeah, I did
all
like
the way
that.
back to the very first James Bond movie, the villain on the island, and there's a lot of similarities.
Even his lair was very Dr. No.
Very Dr. No.
Yeah, and then the title cards with the little dots or whatever.
Yes.
Yeah, I like that.
It was a great homage to that very first James Bond movie that kind of kicked everything off.
Which is part of Daniel Craig's kind of time, is not necessarily overdoing it, but really kind of saying, look, we know where we came from.
Yeah.
I mean, Skyfall came out on the 50th anniversary, and there was a big, hubbub about that, and all these little nods and winks to vehicles and devices and stuff like that. I thought they've done a really good job, and that's kind of that's been throughout
the Daniel Craig era. Yeah, it was definitely, I don't know. I think it's a fantastic movie. If you are a James Bond fan, I think it's one that's definitely worth seeing, because it's not only in the Daniel Craig era of James Bond, but in the overall James Bond world, if you want to call it. Over, was it 26 films if you include the one unofficial one?
I don't like it. I've watched it. It's not that good. It's okay. Thunderball.
Yeah,
much. The story is exactly Thunderball.
Over those 26 films, it's one of my favorite James Bond movies ever.
Really? Daniel Craig's my favorite, and I don't know if I'd put all of his movies above if you're looking at the entire franchise as a whole, I don't know if I'd put some of them above.
I would put all of his movies over all of the Roger Moore movies, and I think the Roger Moore movies. Roger Moore was a victim of that time period,
right?
Because that was the kind of the campiness that you saw in a lot of other movies too, right. And I think if those same movies were made today, they would be much better films.
I agree.
Even like James Bond in Space would have been a much better film.
Well, because we actually have like a space station out there.
Yes.
Like it's realistic.
Yeah.
But at least in that sense, I mean, we could see James Bond going to the International Space Station.
Yeah.
More so than we can see him like flying up into that moon base or whatever it was.
Which, hey, we've had millionaires going to space on their own now. So
yeah, I mean, well, technically, I kind of see Elon Musk as a potential supervillain. I really do.
Yeah, I can kind of see that.
Yeah.
Well, people call him the real life Tony Stark. So
no,
I know. Hey, that's not me calling him.
I see him more as the real life Lex Luthor.
Yeah,
and more than the real life Tony Stark. But yeah, no, I don't see that. So yeah, who knows? I have a soft spot in my heart for Roger Moore because he was the first one that I was introduced to. But you're right. The campiness of those films is a little sometimes hard to. Yeah, it's sometimes hard to watch. But definitely,
really, even
Sean Connery.
No. What's his name? Why am I having a brain fart on
Timothy Dalton?
Timothy Dalton. There was a lot of campiness in him.
There was some, but it was definitely underplayed because he was the next Bond that I really got to know. In fact, Living Daylights was the second Bond film I ever saw. And I actually like Timothy Dalton's portrayal of, even now going back and rewatching him, I like his, because it was a darker portrayal of Bond, way darker than Roger Moore ever could have been.
They were definitely trying to get away from the Roger Moore era,
right? I mean, you had, I think there's a, I swear it was Felix, but it's not because obviously Felix dies again, and Felix has died a lot.
He's died several times.
I swore it was Felix who gets killed by that electronic door in Living Daylights.
Is it?
I think so. But that scene when it kills him, this is obviously a Timothy Dalton thing, but the camera like focuses on his face, and you can just see the anger in his face. Like whoever did this is gonna fucking die.
Yeah.
And that was, to me, that's like the selling point for Timothy Dalton right there. That scene. Because it's obvious, and then they really took that to the next level in License to Kill.
Yeah,
which, it's a weak Bond film, but it's not as weak as some of the others that I can think of. I know most people who like Bond, License to Kill is like at the bottom of the barrel for them.
Yeah, I was never.
Some people even like On Her Majesty's Secret Service more than that one.
On Her Majesty's Secret Service is actually a really good movie.
It is a good movie.
George Lazenby was not a really... It was.
It's very slow. And that's the problem as an adult watching A View to a Kill, because that was the first Roger Moore movie I ever saw. It was actually the first James Bond film I ever saw.
Yeah.
Was A View to a Kill. And as a kid, I was like, wow, they're in the Eiffel Tower and then on the Golden Gate Bridge and all that. I mean, it was really exciting for a 8-year-old in 1988 or 86, whatever, and I never saw it, 86, because it's on HBO. It was the premiere of it on HBO. Mm-hmm. And, it was all exciting and stuff then. Watching it as an adult, I'm like, Jesus. Because it's painfully slow.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It just, that's how I feel about On Her Majesty's Secret Service. It's just such a slow film.
I can see that.
And
it's
by comparison to some of the even earlier films, like Dr. No, I mean, it's the very first James Bond film, so they don't even know what they have and what they're doing really, and it's, in my opinion, far more action packed than anything going on in On Her Majesty's Secret Service. I
will say, like, as far as like action sequences go, the action sequences in No Time to Die, I think, were some of the best, like, visually shot scenes. Like the whole fight in the woods, you got the foggy woods and all that. There was a lot of shit going on. People were getting crushed by vehicles, all sorts of stuff. But it was like, just visually watching it was just a beautifully shot scene.
Yeah, No, I see that. I think that's kind of been standard with all of Daniel Craig's films.
Yeah.
Because they've upped the ante a little bit on some of the action, but it's still kind of held in a somewhat realistic way. I mean, there's a few that you can say, well, that wouldn't have happened, but it's hardly Fast and Furious. And,
No, yeah, there's definitely, they're not like jumping vehicles through other moving vehicles
Right.
and things like that.
Yeah, so I mean, they come close. I'm thinking of one from Casino Royale when he stops and flips the car over her.
Oh yeah,
she's
in
the middle of the street. She would have died. He was going like 100 miles an hour, and he would have died from the crash. So it's that there are some times where it's a little unrealistic.
Well, I would say in the opening scene of No Time to Die when they're like getting chased in the car, and then he stops the car in the middle of like the town square, and everyone's like shooting him, and then he like after a minute he's like, all right, fine, fuck it, and he pulls the guns out of the front of the car and just like does a big circle and kills everyone. Like if the car is moving, like shooting all these people, I'm like fucking ducking. Like,
right,
you're not gonna shoot me
when it's facing the other way. You're like, I'm getting out of here.
Yeah, you're not gonna stand there and keep shooting at the fucking car that's shooting everyone else.
Right,
that's obviously bulletproof.
Yeah.
Well,
I think if that guy had more time, he could have made it through because he was. It looked like he was punching through, but
it was going to take a while.
It was going to take a while, and who's going to sit there? Like
Daniel Craig was there for a couple minutes.
I know, but he was trying to prove a point.
Yeah.
To Madeline at that point, I don't know. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I'm curious to see where they're going to go next with everything.
I think that's like for me, that's the worst part about this. We're losing Daniel Craig as James Bond, and B, we're losing everyone else that's involved in this.
Not necessarily, but you're not going
to bring back Q. You're not going to bring back Moneypenny. You're not going to bring them back unless it's like some kind of spin-off series,
right? Which I think they should do. I think they've actually set it up quite well, intentionally or otherwise. I think there's a lot to be said about this core group outside of Bond.
Yeah.
Because that's the other thing. They really kind of made him slightly more human because they've made everything. You see how his successes have, in some cases, greatly depended on the help of his friends.
Yeah.
Especially in like Spectre and Skyfall. So I really enjoyed this core group that they have, and the actors that are portraying them are really good.
Yeah.
I think this is, if ever there was going to be a time where they could spin off of James Bond and do some different stories.
I think there's two different ways they could spin off of this. One is with Lashana Lynch's character, the next
007.
The 007.
Yeah.
Not James Bond, but 007. And I think they could spin off and do something with Madeline.
Yeah, but she's got the kid now. So it's like, and she's not really a spy necessarily. She's trained.
Those are really only two avenues I see to spin off.
Well, I see they could do the MI6. They could do the 00 program.
Yeah.
With the core group. So yeah, I mean, if she wants to, if they keep her as 007, they could give her another 00 and be fine. Yeah. Just out of deference to Bond.
James Bond.
So, but this core group. Let me ask you this. Her name, I don't know her full name and her full character name, but her first name is Nomi.
That's all she goes by in the movie.
Okay. But the only person who calls her that is Bond.
Yeah.
And know me, not me, because she's 007. When I kept hearing him say that, I'm like, and I even went back to like right before she came in, and I'm like, or before it's implied that she's 007. He's the only person who says her name.
Yeah.
In that whole movie. Everyone else calls her 007. So.
No, they don't.
Yes, they do.
Do they?
Yep. Everyone else in that movie calls her 007.
Well, whatever. I mean, that's what.
Or just doesn't, like, say her name. Like there's that point where Q says 007. He's obviously talking to her, but it's him and her and Bond are in the same room. So, but yeah, Bond is the only person who calls her by her name.
That's funny. But yeah, I think, like, I don't know. I just don't know where else you could go other than those two characters.
Yeah. Well, like I said, if you do the 00 program, you have her as a 00 agent, and you keep M, you keep Moneypenny, you keep Q. That core group going forward.
But I think that they're going to like reboot.
They're going to have to. If
they're going to have to
James
fully
Bond if James Bond is in it, they have to reboot it for sure. There's no
Which sucks because, like I said, I think all of those characters do a great job.
Right.
I did love the fact that when the second 007 when Nomi comes out of M's office and walks by Moneypenny is like, now I know why you shot him, or something along those lines.
Yeah,
Which I think that's a great kind of callback to. Was it that was
Skyfall?
That was Skyfall.
Yeah,
She shot him in the beginning of. So yeah, I thought it was kind of funny that it's just like little things like that to kind of tie all the movies together that I don't feel like you get from a lot of other movie franchises.
No, not really. Well, definitely not from even the Bond movies, because all of them were so independent aside from the actor playing the character.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, you really just, I'm trying to think, because the closest you get, and it's really just because of M and the way that it made Judi Dench kind of a much bigger presence in the films, was the relationship between M and Bond, starting with Pierce Brosnan.
Yeah.
You know, more so in the third Pierce Brosnan film.
The hell was that?
I don't know. Somebody died.
Okay. There was a big loud noise upstairs. I don't know what the hell it was.
It's a ghost.
I don't know. The cats are fighting, so I don't know what the hell they're doing. So finish your story there.
Yeah, it's just that, you know, looking back, there's not a lot of overlap even within certain actors' reign as that character.
Yeah.
I think the first time you really start to see it is, like I said, the character bond that they start to develop between Bond and M in the Pierce Brosnan films. But and her coming over to the Daniel Craig side of things is kind of confusing because she's the only holdover. But and from the beginning, from Casino Royale, it's implied that he's a fresh agent. He's a new agent, and they still managed to develop that character, that relationship between the two, in a slightly more maternal way, I think, even more so than with Pierce Brosnan. But that's the first time you really kind of saw a continuation of a character of two characters' relationship growing.
Yeah, and I don't know, I off the top of my head, I don't think that's ever happened in another
because Felix,
Bond series.
Well, M is always just the exposition to get things started.
Yeah,
you know, 007. This is the mission. Okay, that's you never see him again. Felix would be the only other character, but like I said, they kill him every other movie, so there's constantly a new Felix.
Yeah, Felix has always been played by somebody else.
Yeah, I mean,
he's never been.
Well, he's played by the same character in the Pierce Brosnan ones. Joe Don Baker plays him like in two of them.
Oh, really?
Or three?
Well, yeah, no,
but he's the secondary character.
I'm talking about like each incarnation of Bond has a different
Felix. Yeah, yes. Right. And the relationship is different.
Yeah.
I think Timothy Dalton is the first time that you actually see Felix as a really like a very close friend.
Yes. Yeah.
You know. But I really like how they developed that with Daniel Craig, because they never really develop it in the other ones. It's just kind of implied.
No.
And it's implied more with License to Kill, because, you know, it's Felix's death is what instigates the whole film.
Yes.
But I really like, I would say that I liked the way they handled Felix's death in this film.
Yes.
I don't know if it was necessary.
It wasn't necessary.
They could have let him go, but then he's a character they have to worry about within the story.
Yeah.
And he wasn't really necessuri for that either.
No.
So
I mean, I think it was. I'm fine with the way they killed him off.
Yeah, I mean, overall, I am too.
Because it kind of fueled more. There's more fuel to the fire for Bond after that.
He's my favorite Felix too.
Jeffrey Wright.
Jeffrey Wright is my favorite Felix by far.
Yeah, he does a great job with it. And he has through the whole Daniel Craig era.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, but I'm just like really impressed with this. I don't know, like as far as like Bond wise goes, I don't know. I will say real quick, one thing I did really like about this era of James Bond, and it's something that we've seen and we've talked about it before with other TV shows and movies. This like the feeling of forced diversity,
right?
And I didn't really get that.
I didn't get
that feeling with No Time
There's
to Die.
diversity, but it's not forced.
Not only do you have a female 007, you have a black female 007.
Right. And it's just not. That's the thing. It's there. It just happens.
Yeah.
It happens naturally because like that's how it would in reality.
Yeah.
And you don't have someone talking about it every 5 seconds.
But I think it's because we've also had a female M. We've had Felix Leiter be a black man.
Right.
So there's other...
Unofficially. It was only in in Never Say Never Again.
What?
Felix was that was the only time.
Yeah.
So it's unofficial, but you're right. Yeah.
Well, Jeffrey Wright.
See, I don't even think about it. You're right.
I'm like, what are you talking about?
Well, he was black in Never Say Never Again. I think, so.
But I was talking about the last 5 movies.
Right? Yeah, no. Yeah, no. You're right. I didn't. Like I said, I don't think in those terms.
A female black Moneypenny.
Right.
It's
right.
So there's been this diversity,
and creating a backstory for her. She's not just a secretary.
Yes, exactly.
She was an agent.
Yes. Yes. So there's this. There has been this diversity, this natural diversity throughout these Bond movies. So that's why I didn't feel like there was this forced feeling in No Time to Die.
Do you think that comes from, because really, if you think about it, that's going all the way back, but is it because it's such an international production, not necessarily in internationally funded, but it takes place all over the world. So by nature, it kind of, because you have characters who help Bond who are good guys in the 60s who are black.
Yeah.
And not because here in the States, especially in the South, that would probably be a big deal, but around the world it may not be.
Yeah. Well,
even back then.
I'm going to tell you right now, there's a whole lot of racism in this world outside of the South in the United States.
Oh, I know. But what I'm saying is that it wouldn't be as big of an issue in, say, 1968 in overseas as it would be here.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd say that.
There's
always been especially in the UK, there's been a lot of racism issues historically over the last 40, 50 years in England. So, huge racial issues.
Same as here.
In some ways, I would say even worse than here. In some instances.
Yeah, I don't know.
We don't. Well, I've been to a lot of sporting events in my life. We don't have issues with fans in the stands making monkey noises at black people on the field like they do in England.
True. We've had issues with racial slurs and stuff.
Yeah, but not like that. I mean, it's actually gotten to the point now where they've started arresting people in England.
Good.
For
doing that,
severely blatant racism during soccer games. So
I think that could be more indicative of the current climate of things.
I wouldn't say current because it's been going on for decades like that. So it's I don't want to make a big statement saying overseas there isn't racism.
Oh, I'm not. I'm just saying it's different. It's
I think it's there though.
Yeah, there's no question. There's racism. Every human being has at some time either been the victim of or been responsible for some level of racism, even if it's just thought. But I don't know. So but I agree with you on the diversity thing within the Bond film. It doesn't feel forced, and it's not forced, and it's not a big deal. It's just natural because there are black people in the world, and black people have jobs, and black people do these things. Yeah. So there's no reason to think that there wouldn't be.
And you're right. There, kind of going back to even the Sean Connery movies. There's always some level of diversity in all the movies. So
coming from probably because of just the.
No, I'm sure it was intentional. I guarantee.
Well, yeah, but you've got James Bond in Cuba. You're going to have Latino people. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. It's natural in that sense. You've got him in Haiti. You have to have Haitians. So it just comes from that natural.
Yeah.
Arena.
But I think early on in the process, they wanted to have diversity in their movies because a lot of other movies made in the '60s. There wasn't diversity.
No. But it does give it a level of exoticness too.
Yes. So I don't know. I think it's, if I was ranking, I'm not going to rank the movies, but I would put No Time to Die definitely easily in my top 10 as far as Bond movies go.
I would say other than Quantum of Solace, all of Daniel Craig's are in my top 10. So four of them are in my top 10.
Yeah, I would agree with that. So, I would agree.
If I had to rank them.
But I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do with Bond moving forward, though. I know there's.
Well, did you read that? There was an article that was published last week or the week before Barbara Broccoli, whatever, however you pronounce her name.
It's broccoli.
Is it broccoli? She said that she wouldn't mind seeing a gender neutral or non-binary James Bond. And I don't know how I feel about that because it doesn't make any sense. It's not. Is it possible? Is it natural? Maybe, but I don't know if that's necessary.
I feel like
because this is the same person who said we can't have a female James Bond. You can't have a female James Bond, but you can have a non-binary James Bond. I don't get.
Yeah,
that.
I feel like with that though, that would feel like I think forced,
right?
Because with James Bond, there's always through 26 films, there's been this like almost like chauvinistic kind of sexual aspect to James Bond. Right. So I think if you kind of neuter some of that, I think you lose some of the character.
Right. But we also live in the Me Too era, so you can't really have him too misogynistic. You can't have that masculinity too toxic.
I mean, James Bond, even like in No Time to Die, there was that masculinity to the character. I mean, I think you almost have to have that to a certain level.
Yeah. Would it bother you to have a female James Bond then? Like Jamie Bond or whatever?
Yes.
I mean, we kind of do. We have a 007 who's not.
But she's not James Bond.
She's not James Bond.
I would have.
I don't know why it matters. I mean, it's just a name.
Yeah, I know, but I could not have a female James Bond. A female 007.
Yeah.
Like if they brought her back to do a 007 movie, I would be fine with that. Right. It wouldn't be James Bond though.
No, it'd just be 007.
It'd be 007.
Which is essentially, I mean, in the grand scheme of things, which is essentially what we have anyway. I mean, James Bond just happens to be the name associated with it, but it's a 007 film. You know, the titles of the films never say James Bond, but there's always a 007 in there, you know, in the titles. So
I clicked on this article because it says it's supposed to be an article about who the next James Bond is going to be, and I scrolled down through here, and it doesn't mention a single fucking person.
Yeah, that's because
it's literally just like
Henry Cavill is still on the list, and it keeps going back and forth. Really,
Chris Hemsworth, Hugh Jackman.
Yeah, no, Hugh Jackman's too old. Chris Hemsworth is too Australian.
Idris Elba, I would love to see as James Bond.
I would too, but he won't. He actually said he doesn't want to do it. He says, "I got Luther," which is his,
which I think he would be fantastic.
Yeah, I agree.
And he's coming back to MCU
for Thor.
I don't know. I just saw an article yesterday that said he was back in the MCU, so I'm assuming for the Thor movie.
Huh. Yeah, I really enjoy Idris Elba's films. A lot of the films he's done have been really good. And I think he would make a great Bond.
Who's Dev Patel?
I think isn't that the guy who was in the Eternals? I don't.
No, so he starred in Lion.
Lion.
I don't even know what that is.
Dev Patel.
But anyway, it says
the name sounds familiar.
Says that his name has been thrown out, at least according to this article.
Tom Hardy.
I could see Tom Hardy play. I think Tom Hardy would make a good James Bond. Also, Tom Hiddleston has been mentioned. I like him as an actor. I just don't know.
I don't see him in that. I can see him being a badass, but not that kind of a badass.
No.
You know?
No. I think Tom Hardy would make a really good Bond.
Yeah.
Henry Cavill, no.
Yeah, I don't know.
This article mentions Dwayne Johnson. Hell no.
See, here's the thing. I
don't think he would do it either.
And I feel the same way about Doctor Who because there have been a lot of American actors who said, "Oh, I'd love to be Doctor." It's a British show. It's a British idea. It's the British Secret Service.
Yeah.
Why would you have an American?
Yeah.
You wouldn't.
Yeah. Well,
an Australian more believable.
He would have to have a British accent. But like I'm going to tell you right now, if they hired The Rock to be James Bond, I would not fucking see it anymore.
Yeah, I
would not watch it.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Dwayne Johnson films to begin with. The only one that I would consider saying I'm looking forward to is Black Adam, and we talked about that.
Yeah,
but that's because it fits him. It's a cartoon. It's a comic book.
He does a really good job in God, what was that one movie he did? The with the board game.
Jumanji?
Yeah, Jumanji. He did a really good job of Jumanji.
Yeah, but that was an ensemble cast. It's not a vehicle for
there was that other like fake Die Hard movie. What was that? Where he's like hanging on the edge of the building. That was a really good movie he did also. It was almost like
Skyscraper?
it was a remake of
Die Hard.
Die Hard, basically.
Yeah, well, that's all he does is just silly action films or remakes of other films.
But that was actually a really good movie. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it for an action movie, which I'm not a big action fan outside of like Bond, but
right.
I thought it was a good movie.
I don't think action films have done anything decent since the early 2000s, and they were best in the 80s and 90s. Over the top.
I would say like most of the Marvel movies are action movies.
Yes, but they're a different breed. I'm talking about I'm talking like the buddy cop movies in the 80s, you know, and the Die Hards and even the Schwarzenegger films, you know. The 80s was like the peak.
Yes.
Cuz even you get a shitty one like a made for VHS or whatever, made for video.
What is VHS?
Made for video fucking action film. It was always good cuz at least you get some tits in there.
Yeah.
You know, there was always tits in those movies. Spoken like a true old man.
I didn't respond to you right away just because I saw this headline. Hold on, I've got to click on this because this would be really bad. Tom Holland set to replace favorites Henry Cavill and Tom Hardy as James Bond.
Too young.
He's way too fucking young.
Yeah.
And he's doing Spider-Man.
See, there's some debate there because they said that the MCU and Sony had come to an agreement to do 3 more Spider-Man movies with the MCU.
Yeah.
But then what's his name?
Tom Holland?
Tom Holland said that he doesn't know if he wants to do any more Spider-Man movies.
Which I don't get that because I saw him do an interview less than 6 months ago where he said, I'm going to be Spider-Man until they tell me I can't be Spider-Man anymore.
Yeah, but then there's another interview where it's actually him talking, like it's on video him talking.
No,
this
is a different
one. It was another one where he's doing an interview. He says if I'm still playing Spider-Man at 30, I'm doing something wrong with my career.
Wow.
Those are his words.
That's a long time from now.
How old is he? Like
25, something like that. 20.
Yeah, but they're not going to make 3 more movies in 5 years.
Oh, I don't know. I'm sure that if they throw enough money at him, he will fucking stick around.
Yeah. Oh, they're going to. Especially from what I hear.
Yeah, he's 25.
So from what I hear about how No Way Home is doing, it's going to be the first movie that could come close to $1 billion this year since the pandemic.
Yeah, because like everyone I fucking know has seen that. Like there were people at work yesterday talking about it, and I was like, "Shut the fuck up," because I haven't seen it yet,
right.
And I won't get a chance to see it for probably a week.
Yeah, it's going to be longer than that for me because I got my schedule.
I'm gonna try to go Thursday morning and see it.
Yeah, I'm not gonna be able to do that.
No, well, because I get out of work at 11 o'clock the night before, so and I'm off that day, so. The only thing I've got to do that day is record apparently 3 episodes of The Violent Den. So
okay. That's it. Just 3.
Just 3. Well, there was one day last week I recorded 5 fucking episodes one day.
The way things are going, I'm probably not going to make it to the movie theater until January.
Yeah.
For anything. So
I will say that No Time to Die was, I think, the second movie I'd seen in the movie theaters
since the pandemic.
Since the pandemic.
The
first one was Black Widow.
And
I'm going to tell you, like, it was kind of odd at first. But I will say when I saw No Time to Die, there was me and 2 other people in that fucking movie theater.
Right. Oh, I'm not afraid to go because I'll just wear a fucking mask and I'm, fully vaccinated with booster. So I'm not terribly worried about it.
Sheep.
Sheep that's not gonna fucking die. At least from COVID. So it's not that. It's more just timing and. I think there's still an anxiety of just being out in public, period. It has nothing to do with the pandemic. It's just, I don't like people. I don't like going. I don't even like leaving my house.
To be completely honest, I've never been a huge fan of going to movie theaters because I've never fucking liked crowds. This has nothing to do with pandemics or anything else. Because the thing I hate about going to a movie theater is hearing other fucking people.
Right.
That's why I've always been, if I've ever had the chance of, if I have my choice between seeing it in the movie theater and seeing it at home, I'll always pick it home.
Right. And that's how I feel because I'm super excited about Matrix Resurrections.
Yeah.
But it's going to be premiering on HBO Max the same day. I'm just going to watch it on HBO Max.
Yeah.
I'm paying for HBO Max. I might as well use it.
Yeah.
You know, because there's not a lot of shit I watch on there anyway.
Yeah.
So, you know.
But I don't know. No Time to Die. It's a great movie. That's
Yeah.
I don't have anything else really to add to it.
No. I mean, granted, we're James Bond fans anyway, so I mean,
Yeah.
there's going to be a level of bias involved there. But if trying to be, you know, fair and unbiased about it, it's a really good film.
It is. It is. But that's all I got, man. Any questions or comments, you can email us at lifeingeneralpod@gmail.com. We are on Facebook. We are no longer on Twitter. I know I say it probably every other episode or so, but that's about all I got. Where shows available everywhere podcasts are available, because apparently you're already listening to the show.
And if you're not,
If you're
You
not
should be.
If you're not listening to this show, you should be.
yes,
And well, it's anything else to add, Ian?
no. Dev Patel I don't know who he is.
Yeah, neither do I.
don't
I looked him up
I
online.
don't
know who he is.
recognize
Yeah,
him.
neither do I.
He was in Slumdog Millionaire. That's
Oh,
what he's
okay. Well, I mean, that's all I got. Until next time.
from. Talk to y'all later.
Peace.
Play my role, let me tell you about it. This shit right here, man, I'm about it. Only real niggas reside around me. Yo, old lady, drop a guard around me. Dip like I know you can, bitch. Show me the ropes like we in the ring. Got you some cobras, you wanna hang. Shoulder to shoulder, them niggas basic. You know I won't lie. You know that I ain't for that fuck shit. You niggas alright, but I'm way better and she love it. Know that y'all sick as fuck. Here go this tissue, bro. We taking the dub. Hoping you get you some. This hit like a pick me up. She taking my drugs. Know they see the sign. That's some dollar signs. Know they sick as fuck. Know they sick as fuck. Tell them get well soon. Tell them get well soon. Know you sick as fuck. Get well soon.
Oh shit, watch out, you the god, Billy. Oh shit, right now, and I'm smiling in your face, bitch. With a gold smile, you should probably make placement to your eye. Niggas sick as fuck, standing with niggas who down for that party, who down for some bitches who showing their bodies. Swear to God, nigga, this Molly got me up and rolling. These bodies of water, bring that shit in bottles. We mash at the party, they hate when we styling. Wildin' out of the party.